Now, since we just talked about R-Truth and his match with John Cena, I want to speak about John Cena a little bit. Like I said before, I feel like his run as a 17-time World Heavyweight Champion has been a waste. I'm going to give my version of what I think John Cena should be doing and how he should be booked moving forward before his retirement. The main thing that I feel is that John Cena has to be more involved. He has to be more involved. I know it was an article that came out that said that John Cena was diagnosed with skin cancer. So if that's the reason why he isn't able to be a part of the show as much, then I get it. I really do. But I don't feel like that's the reason why he's not a part of the show as much. I mean, at the end of the day, I can't be for certain. But even if that was the case, even if it had to be a limit on the amount of screen time with John Cena, I still feel like we could utilize that time effectively. The way we do that is we have to make John Cena the ultimate hater. John Cena has to be the biggest hater that we've ever seen in the WWE. That's what I feel like his character should be as the champion right now. He's already set the tone for that in his explanation of his path to retirement. Certain things that he said about other guys not being good enough, about Cody Rhodes not being good enough to carry the championship. For me, I like to see veterans and superstars pass the torch. I like to see them set up the future by giving younger wrestlers the spotlight that they deserve and need. It's so many wrestlers right now in the WWE that are trying to build momentum for their career moving forward. Why have John Cena back just to hold the championship? It should be more than that. He should be interacting with every wrestler on the roster. Again, what is so hard about that? What is so difficult about having John Cena just have conversations with people? He doesn't have to wrestle everybody because we know that's not going to happen anyway. But what's the harm in having John Cena have small exchanges and interactions with most of the wrestlers? So back to the way that I would book John Cena, the way to do this, in my opinion, would be for him to be the biggest hater. Meaning that it's no limit to the amount of pettiness that we see from John Cena until he retires. Whether that's coming down to the commentary table during a random match and just completely tearing down the wrestlers that are in the ring and that are competing, that could be a nice touch. Just simply getting on the commentary with Michael Cole, with Pat McAfee, or whoever's commentating at the time, and just burying whatever wrestler is in the ring. Just completely tearing them down verbally on the commentary booth, saying how terrible they are, saying how they need to do this thing better, how they could execute this better. He doesn't understand why they're wasting screen time even being in the ring. Like I said, the biggest hater, being as petty as possible. This could be the perfect thing for John Cena without him actually having to wrestle anybody. All he has to do is every time we see him on the screen, he's showing us a level of pettiness unseen before. If it's not the commentary booth, then it could be when wrestlers are having a match and he comes down and just interrupts the match. He could come down with a microphone without even being on commentary and talk to the entire arena and talk about how bad this match is that's going on in the ring right now. And he could just criticize and critique these matches and create this vibe and this atmosphere where it's almost like he's running the show. Where it's almost like wrestlers have to prove something to John Cena. Not management, but John Cena being the last real champion. He could say things like, this is the exact reason why I have to take this title home. This is the exact reason why I have to be the last champion. Because every time I watch a match, these wrestlers are just not on the level. This is what he should be coming out and saying on the microphone during the match. He could do the same thing in the backstage area while he see wrestlers warming up or giving a promo or just doing whatever they're doing. And he could just happen to walk by and he could talk his shit. It could be a wrestler in the backstage area that gives a great promo. and then they could pan the camera over slightly, and John Cena had been watching the entire promo, and John Cena acts disgusted, as if it was the worst thing he's ever heard from a WWE interview. Like I said, John Cena should be the biggest hater. That should be his persona moving forward. Because like I said, if his medical diagnosis is preventing him from wrestling more often, then at least this way, he's putting the spotlight on different wrestlers by being their biggest hater and being their biggest hater. Wrestlers that the WWE wouldn't put him in the ring with anyway. What does it hurt the company to have John Cena just come and talk and hate on these people to their face? At least now the fans in the arena and the audience at home, maybe they might start to look at certain wrestlers different now that they've had an interaction with John Cena. Sometimes that's all it takes. That's all it takes. It's just utilizing your stars. Just using wrestlers who probably don't have the biggest push and the biggest momentum, but having them go against John Cena in a promo battle, in a backstage promo battle. Sometimes the WWE likes to have a wrestler come to the commentary booth during a match and join in. What if that was happening like usual and you had a wrestler at the commentary booth talking about a match against a future opponent, and then John Cena also comes down to the commentary booth. He invites himself down to the commentary booth. And instead of John Cena talking about the match, he's talking about whatever wrestler has joined the commentary booth before he got there. And then now they get into a back and forth on the commentary. This is why I always say that the devil's in the details. It's the little things that turn into big moments. We might have seen a scenario like that in the past, maybe. But from my understanding, that would be something a little bit different and a little bit unique. This is John Cena's last year in the company. I thought that this meant that he wanted to go out with a bang. How was this going out with a bang, wrestling Randy Orton for the 20th time? Having a championship match against R-Truth when R-Truth hasn't been seen as a credible threat in WWE ever. How is this going out with a bang? I'm going to give y'all one more piece of game when it comes to John Cena and what I mean by him interacting with other talents. One thing that I would love to see personally is if Karrion Kross was conducting an interview in the ring or cutting a promo. Either one. It doesn't matter. Let's just say a promo. Let's say that Karrion Kross is in the ring conducting a promo, and then all of a sudden, John Cena interrupts and comes down to the ring. And not only does John Cena interrupt Karrion Kross, but when John Cena gets in the ring, he proceeds to tell Karrion Kross that he's sick of the crying. He's sick of Karrion Kross acting like he's not getting the opportunity. He hates the fact that Karrion Kross can only do a good promo online, that every time that Karrion Kross is away from WWE TV, then now he acts like he knows how to cut a promo. He should just criticize and belittle Karrion Kross in front of the world. The reason he should do that is because this could be a perfect way to get Karrion Kross the momentum he needs. This could be the perfect thing to put Karrion Kross in a match or a situation where he could begin to get the push that a lot of fans are hoping that he gets. And who better than John Cena? Who better than John Cena to get Karrion Kross going in the right direction? It doesn't have to lead to a full-blown match, in my opinion. But even if it does, great. That'll be great also, because now we get to see what Karrion Kross can do. We get to see what he can do against one of the greatest of all time, who's currently holding the WWE Championship. Wouldn't it be amazing if on a Monday Night Raw, they have John Cena and Karrion Kross in a WWE Championship match? Because everything doesn't have to be on a premium live event. That's one of my other pet peeves about WWE. Everything doesn't have to be premium live event just for it to be a championship match. Because in my version, John Cena wouldn't lose the WWE Championship to Karrion Kross, but it'd just be a nice match to see, and it'd be a nice way to get the momentum going for Karrion Kross. I feel like if John Cena was to come out and tear Karrion Kross down, that they do an angle where Karrion Kross breaks John Cena's jaw. He either punches him, elbows him, suplex, whatever move they decide to do, that could actually get Karrion Kross over, they should do that and act like he broke John Cena's jaw for two reasons. One is, again, if they're really serious about pushing Karrion Kross, this would be a nice thing for Karrion Kross to have in his back pocket. Meaning that anytime that a wrestler tries to come and interrupt Karrion Kross in a promo or just tries to call Karrion Kross out, period, Karrion Kross will always be able to say, if I was you, I would watch who you talking to, because the last guy that talked down to me was John Cena, and I broke his damn jaw. It's one of those things that could create a moment, but it could also be long-term storytelling for Karrion Kross. It could be that achievement, if you will, that Karrion Kross loves to boast about. The fact that he broke the jaw of the greatest of all time because he talked down to him. And then on the other side of that, it'll be interesting for John Cena to have a broken jaw on television because all he does is talk anyway. And hopefully, if they follow my storyline, he would have been the biggest hater by now anyway. So it would be a nice twist for somebody to shut John Cena up. And somehow John Cena works with the broken jaw. Even though he can't talk at full capacity, he still finds the time and the energy to still hate and be petty. And again, this is John Cena going out with a bang. It's time to do things a little bit different before he's on his way out. He's the heel now. John Cena is the bad guy. What's wrong with somebody finally giving John Cena what he deserves? We've never seen John Cena in a vulnerable way on WWE TV. When you really think about it, even when he was the good guy, he's been in jeopardy, but it's never been nothing too crazy. It's never been nothing over the top. It's always been a situation where he's been able to turn into Super Cena. It's always been a situation where he's been able to turn into Super Cena and destroy everybody and everything. It'll be nice to have a change of pace for once, and John Cena is a victim. And as the bad guy, it fits, because that's what being a bad guy and a heel in professional wrestling is all about. At some point, you got to face the consequences. Somebody is finally going to shut you up. Who better than a guy like Karrion Kross to be able to pull that off and deliver that? Because I think that Karrion Kross's time is now. I think that Karrion Kross is one of those guys that could lead the WWE in the future. He's one of the guys that we need to get real serious about and really figure out, how do we build? How do we build for Karrion Kross? So 5 and 10 years from now, he could be one of those guys that's looked at as a Roman Reigns. He could be one of those guys that's looked at as a John Cena, because he has all of the tools. He has all of the potential. But what he doesn't have, obviously, is the confidence of WWE and the proper booking. But again, at Worldwide Classic, we don't just come with problems, we come with solutions. And that's the way I will book John Cena, and in that, it will help Karrion Kross. You heard it here first on Worldwide Classic. It ain't nothing but money. Let's get it.